Hello guys, welcome back to Bookmas. So today's a really exciting video. Throughout this year, I've been doing a lot of other things, picking the books that I read. So I thought for today's video, we can have a special guest choose the books that I read for this week. And before I introduce him, you can probably one, tell by the thumbnail who it is, two, me just saying him. You can probably also guess who it is, but he's been on my channel many times throughout, honestly, a lot more recently in a lot of vlogs and stuff. He's chosen my TBR before. He's actually, I think, also chosen the books that I read. So we're bringing him back again. I haven't told him exactly what he's doing, but he just knows he has to be in a video and choose books that I'm going to be reading. But we're going to make it a little bit more fun, and I'm going to let him choose a book from my physical TBR, and then we're also going to head over to Barnes today, and he can choose literally any book that he wants from Barnes & Noble. Now, he knows my book taste, he knows the authors I like, and he knows the genres I read, so I'm kind of holding him to a high standard here, picking some books that I'm gonna enjoy. And then at the end of the video, we'll bring him back in. We're gonna make him guess what rating he thinks I gave to the books that he chose. And usually he's really good at this. Like, I'll finish a book and he's usually really spot on with the rating that I give it. I think he can tell by like my emotion after I say like I finished that book. And I'll either say like it was good, whatever, and he usually is pretty good with the rating. So we're gonna have him guess the rating I gave the books that he chose for me. And hopefully they're all 4 books. Not to put too much pressure on him, but we'll see. Without further ado, my boyfriend is going to be picking the books that I read for this week. This is Chris. If you have not seen him on my channel, this is my boyfriend.
Hi guys.
How long have we been dating?
A long time.
7 years this month. So you're gonna pick one book from this cart, and then at Barnes you pick one book, any book. That's your only rules.
Let's get to picking.
I will say there's one on here that I really want you to pick, but I'm not gonna tell you which one.
Oh man. I'm gonna do a full 360. This is jumping out at me. I'm just gonna pick 4, maybe 5 that are jumping out at me. That's jumping out at me, and this is jumping out at me. No, it's not. This one's about football. I like this.
I know, I knew you were gonna pick this one.
I choose this one.
Okay.
Congratulations.
We are here outside of Barnes & Noble. Do you have a game plan?
Whatever jumps out at me, I'm just gonna pick it.
Do you have a specific genre or author or anything?
It could be any genre.
I feel like you're going in there with
Michael business.
If he gives me a nonfiction book, this video's over, so.
Ed Crombie. Zara. Burks.
Just know that the romance is in the front now, not back here.
Mike. Maybe we'll read Diary of the Wimpy Kid. Come on guys, keep following me. I think my wife is in this book. Oh, there she is. But wait, there's more. She's right there too. Come on guys, follow me. I'm strolling, I'm looking. I'm still looking.
I read that already. In like 6th grade. He just picked up this book. Has anyone read this before? Flipped? I'm pretty sure it's a movie too. I read that when I was like 12. I don't remember anything about it, but he just picked that up, so I'm a little worried. I think he has no plan. Oh, he's gone. He's out of the section.
We're in Spooky. This book's a maybe. It's called The September House. It's about somebody that bought a really cheap house, and I sell houses. I love houses. Sarah's gonna show me her favorite table. Abort mission, there's too many people in here and we're nervous.
Romance?
Nah, I don't want to do romance. This time around, I don't want to do romance. I don't want romance at all. Chat, follow me. Let's go back here. Oh, Elsie. I can tell you all about her. Sarah J. Maas. Duh. Don't pick that. Charlie.
And?
Ryan?
No.
Nick?
Yeah.
Nothing's jumping out at me. When I see it, I'm just gonna know. Great book. Read it myself.
I read that.
Chat, this is hard. Oh man.
What happened?
There was a dog died.
I can't. Not reading it. I can already see maybe like 5 books that I would personally want to pick up for myself. Why don't you just pick out like 3 books?
I can't pick out one. The Lost City.
There's one fantasy I almost bought the other day. I wish I could just choose for myself. But that's not the point of this video. How's this one coming? Are you gonna check Goodreads to see if it has a good review for me?
Nope. This is very, very hard, guys.
He picked up Lightlark, everyone.
I like this. It's an island. It's kind of like Hunger Games. I think we found the book.
Are the characters' names?
No way. His final answer? I am currently editing this video and I've never done this before, but I accidentally deleted the clips of my first impressions of Lightlark and giving the summary and everything, and I'm so upset about it because I had such good first impressions, like really authentic reactions while I was reading the beginning and getting into this book, and I'm so upset that I did that. But does it make sense for this video to continue on without me giving a little bit of a summary and a glimpse of how I felt when the book started? I did finish it at this point, but I do remember how I felt about the book, and again, I'm gonna give the summary so that you can understand more of what I'm like talking about as this video goes on. So Lightlark is basically an island that appears every 100 years. All 6 rulers have to go to the island to compete to break the curse that all of these rulers have on them. So each of the 6 rulers have magic that they're not able to use because years and years and years ago there's this whole thing that happened and it held their powers back. It gave them all a curse, and in order to break it they have to join this like competition type thing on the island of Lightlark that comes again every 100 years, and they all have different powers and stuff, but they're all competing against each other, but they're all trying to break the same curse for each other. So it's very interesting. They're all trying to work towards the same goal, but they're also competing against each other. And there's also one rule within breaking the curse that one of the rulers has to die, which takes out the entire realm. So that's kind of one of the reasons why the curse has never been broken, because as these other centennials have taken place on Lightlark, all the rulers have made it through the entire game and the entire 100 days and went back to their land, and their land is just like deteriorating without their magic to power it. That's kind of the summary of it. My first impressions of this was it felt like a lot of other fantasy books that I really enjoy. There's different types of fantasies, you know, you have folk fantasies, you have like fairy tale retellings, you have dark fantasies, you have gothic fantasies, and you also have competitions and high stake competitions and trials. And it's so interesting how so many authors do trials in their fantasies, but they all make it a little bit different. Something about the nostalgic feel of a trial in so many books. It feels a bit repetitive, but again, it's so entertaining and almost comforting to me. It's one of my favorite like plot points and storylines in a fantasy book. I just, something about the high stakeness of the competitions, like who do you trust, who do you ally with, where's the romance in this, but like you guys can't trust each other because you're competing against each other. So I just love me a good trial in any fantasy book, so really excited about that one when I started this. Right from the beginning, I feel like you got right into it. You learned about the different realms and where our main character Isla's from, and she is actually a wildling. She meets right off the bat, like a few chapters in, all the other rulers and stuff, and they get right into the Centennial, right into the palace. They're at the kingdom. And again, another thing about me is when a fantasy book takes place at a palace in a kingdom with royalty, I love it. Something about it I just really love. Lots of high stakes already in the beginning of it, but there's also a little bit of secrets thrown out throughout. I think that's what made me so entertained and hooked in the beginning, is we're not just like learning and world building and like taking in so much information, but there's also like little secrets coming out, and that like kept me entertained and like wanting to know what's happening. Really enjoyed it right from the beginning of it. Again, it has a lot of tropes and storylines that a lot of other fantasies have, but I eat it up every time. So yeah, that was my first impressions. That's a summary. Now it's gonna make more sense as it goes on what I'm talking about, because the next clip of me talking, I don't remember what I was saying, but it just doesn't make sense if you have no idea that I was entertained and that the story of it is like a high stakes competition to break a curse altogether. With that being said, let's get back into me reading this book and then further thoughts and opinions and whatnot. next morning. I slept with like heatless curls. I did heatless curls last night. Did not expect them to work as well as they did. Let me move you back. I got a little over halfway this morning and still going really well. I'm still very entertained. Every time I pick it up, I don't want to put it down, but I'm going to the gym right now, so I'm taking a little break. But our main character's on another mission right now with another character, and I'm very intrigued to see like more of what's happening here, because I can't tell like where the romance is going to stem from now, because there's two male characters. I'm like, is this going to be a love triangle, or am I supposed to be rooting for another one? It's very subtle in the background of the plot right now. I feel like it's not really the main focus, but you do get like little hints and scenes of what could be something like that. So I'm like, I don't know who to trust still. And she's still kind of throwing out different like rules within different realms and stuff as we're going. Like I'm halfway through and I'm still learning about different things that some of the realms can and can't do, and I'm like, I feel like I should know this already. And I don't know if I said this, I probably did, but it literally feels like as we're going with the story, she's like making up new things. She's like, yeah, they can't do this and they can wield this, and it's like there's endless things these realms can do apparently. And there's one thing about our main character that's a big spoiler, but it's hindering her from a lot of things, and I'm interested to see like the whole history of that, because I have a bit of a theory on it. I did hear that the last like 50-ish pages of this book is crazy, so I'm really excited to get to the last 50 pages today. We are finishing this book today because I need to know what happens. I feel like not much is going on. We're learning a lot. She's going through a lot of things, but she also is a bit sheltered back at her realm. Like, so she doesn't know everything that the other realm leaders and rulers know. So she's also learning along with us from the other characters, but she also doesn't know who to trust. So it's like, is what they're telling her true? I don't remember what I was saying, but when I come back from the gym, we're gonna continue reading this, and I really want to finish it today. I can't wait to get to the end of this book and see how it sets up for the next one. I can't go right into the next one, but I have a feeling when I finish this, I'm gonna want to. So after we finish Scythe, we'll see how that one goes. But I have so many series I'm now in the middle of. I've started maybe like 5 in the past like week and a half. I'm spending the rest of this year completing series that I started specifically this past few weeks. Like I've started so many, but anyway, really excited about this one, and maybe we'll just have to go to Barnes to get the second one, and maybe I'll put the second one in a video for bookmas. Maybe. Lots of maybes, but there's got to be a ball. Okay, I have like 150-ish pages left, maybe a little less. I'm on page 280 right now, and we've gotten a lot more of the characters I was definitely more suspicious of, or just like they felt a little more mysterious, and we've gotten more like vulnerable parts of them, and I'm like, I don't know who to like, you know what I mean? And I said before, maybe like a love triangle situation going on. I know the second one, I think it's called Nightbane. I don't know, it's really just like messing with me. It's like, I don't know who's telling like the truth and stuff, but I'm still really enjoying it. I've been just so entertained and so immersed in the story every time I'm reading it. I do think we kind of strayed away from the plot of like the trials and the competition, which something just happened after like the 50-day mark of this like centennial, and that kind of raises the stakes a lot. So stakes are like extremely high right now, not only just because of what the new rule is for the centennial, but also the side quest that our main character's on with 2 other characters, one more mainly, but like she has like a bunch of other things going on in like the background of it, but that's become more of like the main plot that she's focusing on. And what's happening with that, what she needs to like find and do, stakes are high. Stakes are so high. So I'm gonna sit here until I finish. I'm so excited. I found like a random playlist that's just like a Lightlark playlist. I've been listening to it and I just feel very immersed in the world. And I saw some like fan art pictures of all the characters and their outfits. But this little playlist I've been listening to, it just says Lightlark reading. Taylor Swift just came on. Look what you made me do. So I'm going back in. I'm really excited. And I heard again that the last like 50-ish pages are kind of crazy. So I can't wait to see what happens. I have a couple theories, but they're like in the back of my mind as I'm reading. I'm like, you're all suspicious. So I don't know. We'll see. No. No way. did not. Oh my god, that was crazy. I can't believe he did that. I'm officially on page 351. So we have just about 50 pages left, and I think we're gonna find out so much. So much has escalated, and we've also found out a few key little details, and I'm really just so curious about how this book is gonna end, because I have my theories, but who knows if I'm right, but we're about to find out. I guessed this so early on. No way. And I was also just gaslighting myself that I wasn't correct. Like, as it was going on, I was like, wait, that's kind of like far-fetched. But I was right. I can't believe this. Good morning. I finished Lightlark yesterday. I sat in that chair and I told you I was going to binge the rest of it, and I did. The ending was a bit crazy. I expected it to go crazy, lots of plot twists and stuff. One thing, I guess, like so early on in the book did happen, but there was a lot more lore to it, a lot more info dumping that happened, like to explain kind of what was going on. So there's parts of it I didn't guess, but I think the ending had good plot twists, and then they kind of like kept going, and I was like, okay, we had enough. I think it was like a good setup also for the second book. But I think that this type of fantasy, again, I really enjoy like the trials and the betrayals and all that kind of stuff, and different characters and like having like hidden secrets and everything like that. And the magic system was fun, but it's also, again, like I said, fantasy tropes and stuff we've seen in so many other fantasy books. But I think that's what makes it so like almost nostalgic and comforting for me. I really enjoyed it because as many times as I see stuff that happens in this book and plot lines and characters that are very similar to other ones, I still enjoy it. It's just the pure escapism of fantasy books like this that I just really, really like. This one was just really entertaining. It was nothing extremely crazy, but I really liked what it was doing and the setup again for the next book and into the series. I'm really excited to see like what happens because this ends kind of crazy. So I would give this one a 4-star, and I really didn't expect to enjoy this as much as I did. I just couldn't step out of it, and I think that's when you know a book is really entertaining and feels like escapism, when you're really immersed into it while you're reading. You're really there with the characters and you forget about the outside world, and that's kind of what this book did for me. So yeah, I give this one a 4-star. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm really excited to read the second one. I definitely want to pick that up sometime this week because again, this ends on a not a cliffhanger, but like there's a lot of unanswered questions that I need. So Chris did a good job at choosing this one, and I saw him last night and I told him I finished the book, and he did not expect me to finish it so quickly. So I told him he couldn't guess would I rate it, because usually after I finish a book he'll guess immediately, but I said hold in your thoughts because we have one more book to go. I started Scythe last night as well. I think I'm about 50-ish pages in, 55. I'm on chapter 5. This book is so interesting. I knew it was dystopian. I knew it had something to do with population control, but basically in this like post-mortal world, it's still set in like future of America. Death is like not an issue anymore. It's all like natural death, so you can't get sick and you can't get into like car crashes, you can't die of old age, like it's just like mortality at that point, and like nothing can kill you. But they need to do population control, so they have like unnatural deaths, and that comes with the Scythe. So their main government, they have gotten rid of all politicians and like people in the government, so their government is the Thunderhead. It's basically like an AI government where it kind of just knows everything. It just kind of explained it to me way better than I could probably explain it. It says that the Thunderhead quite literally knew everything, when and where to build roads, how to eliminate waste in food distribution and thus end hunger. Like it knows how to solve all the problems that the politicians and like the real government couldn't years prior. So the one thing that the Thunderhead doesn't do is population control, so that leaves it to the humans, and that brings it to the Scythes, with just this group that it's called gleaning, I'm pretty sure. Instead of like killing, they go out and they just choose different people, and it's like their time to go, and that's just how they do it. So it starts off with a Scythe coming into our main character's home. He's allowed to like go into, or just Scythes in general are allowed to go into people's homes and like eat their dinner. They don't have to pay for anything. Like they are just kind of like above everyone else. Like their families have like immunity for like their whole life, so they have different rule sets for them, but they also are in charge of killing population or like people within their world. So our two main characters are Citra and Rowan, and they're both teenagers, and they're both put under an apprenticeship with a Scythe. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's very, very interesting. I don't read too many dystopian books, so when I do, I feel like they're very entertaining. They're very, again, just interesting. So I'm excited to see about this one. This one's a trilogy. If I enjoy it, definitely gonna buy the second one as well, because we are finishing series this year and into next year. I'm excited to see like what the plot line of this one is. I'm assuming it's gonna be them two kind of like learning the behind the scenes of like the Scythe and like their group and their meetings and stuff, which I'm interested. So I'll come back with further updates and opinions and thoughts, but so far it's an interesting setup, an interesting plot. Maybe we'll have another 4-star in this video. That would be crazy. Chris picking 2 books that I really enjoyed, but this book has been on my TBR for so long. I've had so many people wanting me to read it. I pick it up all the time, so everyone say thank you, Chris. Okay, what page am I on? I just finished chapter 15. I'm on page 164. I have a lot of thoughts on this book. So far I think the concept was so interesting. It still is really interesting. Like, they have conquered everything that they think and have thought was wrong or could be wrong and evil with like the past mortal world. But then you have the Scythes, and that's where the moral questioning comes in. It's like they are actually just committing murder in order to help the population. Like, that's their method of doing things. And it's so interesting because our main characters are now in the apprenticeship. Like, they are just normal teenagers underneath the Scythe, like following along with him, learning about the process that goes into it, and actually going to the gleanings and going to where the Scythes and their like main apprenticeship guy Faraday goes to his gleanings, how he chooses them, what happens when he gets there, what he says to them, what happens if the people like refuse to do it, and everything like that. Like, they're learning so much about it. We're going along with them, but I feel like I'm learning as I'm reading this. I'm not like very entertained. I feel like there's not much happening, which is very interesting. It just feels like I'm learning along with our characters about how to become a Scythe and like what happens when you do become a Scythe. I think the stakes became a little bit higher. We should learn something that they both have to do by the end of their apprenticeship, so that kind of like raised the stakes a little bit, but like not by much. And within the writing, it just feels very boring. And I feel like there's not much of a plot happening. We're just kind of learning along with it. So I'm hoping the plot and like something happens, you know, something big. There is one part of the story that I'm really liking, and I don't know exactly who this is just yet, but at the end of every chapter, you get a journal entry. And for a Scythe, when you become one, you have to keep a journal and you have to write in it every single day. We get a journal entry at the end of every chapter, and they haven't really told us who it is. It just says, oh, actually, I just realized it does tell us who it is. But I guess I didn't realize who it was because we just met these Scythes, because they went to like this meeting with all of them that happens every 4 months. But now I know who's writing these journal entries. Before I didn't, but that's the one part that I like, reading the journal entries through the point of view of the Scythe. Like, this one was interesting because it was in the journal entry and it was telling how this Scythe went to go glean a woman, and the woman was like, where do I go now? And the Scythe was like, well, your memories and life recording are already stored in the Thunderhead, so it won't be lost. Your body is returned to the earth in a manner determined by your next of kin, and your memory construct will exist in the Thunderhead, which is like the AI government, the technology government. It says loved ones will be able to talk to it and your construct will respond. So in their day and age, in this future, when a loved one dies, like, I guess like the technology is able to use all their memories, and like you're able to like go see their memories and also communicate with them even though they've passed. And then what's also interesting is in their age of like the mortality that they're at, I think like the oldest person's like 300, but they're able to like mask themselves and like make their physical appearance younger. So someone could be like 90 but they look like they're 30 and you wouldn't know, which is interesting. And they also have these things within them that if they get hurt, if they whatever, like it'll just like heal them really quickly. So, well, obviously they're immortal at this point. But yeah, I think again the concept's very interesting. I think the way that he's created this postmodern world is interesting. I just think the way it's being portrayed to me, I'm not really enjoying. I'm kind of just bored with it. I feel like our characters have not much personality, and something just happened between the two of them, and I'm just like, I don't think we need that. Over 400 pages, which I feel like there has to be stuff that happens. Like, we can't keep going like this for this long, or I'm just gonna be very bored. I'm hoping something within the plot goes crazy or something. I don't know. I also wonder, they haven't really talked about this yet, but I wonder like the gleaning of like famous people or celebrities, like how does that go down? We've just seen a few different of the gleanings that they do, but I wonder like if there's like a difference, because the way that they choose them are very interesting. But I wonder what it's like for like a celebrity or something like that. Like, do they just show up and they're like, it's your time? Maybe we'll find out. I don't know. Something crazy just happened. There's no way. Remember like 2 seconds ago when I said I hope something crazy happens? The book heard me. No way. Are they lying? No way. That was crazy. Part 3. Wait, I really like that ending. I just finished Scythe a little bit ago. I feel like I already know my thoughts on this one. I did end up listening to some of the ending of this, like the last, not the last 2 pages, but like between halfway and the end, whatever. I was doing like a few things around the house and I just wanted to continue seeing what was going to happen, so I ended up listening to some of it. I really liked the audiobook. I feel like if I do end up continuing the series, I'd probably listen to the next one because I did enjoy like listening to the story. But anyway, I still think the concept of this was really interesting, and the way it went through the storyline is not what I expected. By the end of it, I am more connected to the apprentices than our 2 main characters, which is so interesting. I feel like they had more depth, and also I think it's through the journal entries we get between each chapter with these apprentices and what they're thinking while being a Scythe. I really liked that, and I feel like I got to know them more, and they're kind of like moral compass of where they're at in their head, like being a Scythe, and like the morality between basically just their job being to murder people and how that kind of like affects them, and how empathy can be lost really quickly, and once that happens it's like, what do we have now? We just have a corrupt system. So like I said, I really liked our apprentices and getting their journal entries. I do wish we kind of got more of them. Like if this book was focusing more on them and we got maybe more of their point of views, I think I would have really enjoyed it a bit more and connected to it more. But our 2 main characters for some reason felt very surface level for me. Like they didn't have much depth to them. They would like say things about how they were feeling, but I didn't emotionally connect to them or feel what they were feeling as they were going through this whole like apprenticeship and like what they were being told was going to happen by the end of it and everything. I do think by the end of it, our 1 main character, Rowan, he changed the most, but again, it felt very surface level where you don't really like know his emotions and his feelings towards it. He kind of just like told us what he was feeling and told us how he feels by the end of it and like what has happened being underneath the apprentice that he was. So I didn't love our 2 main characters, but I may be going like further into the series and connect to them more. But I did end up liking a couple of the apprentices and I would love to see more of them. But for the actual plot, I do think that there were a few twists that got me that I didn't see it coming, and I really enjoyed that. But the writing style I just didn't love. I think it was a bit boring at times, and like getting from each like action-packed or each crazy scene, I think it was a bit slow. But it was interesting reading like both sides of it, and also how that affects our main characters being under who they're under and like learning from and how they turn up at the end of it. So I enjoyed some parts of it. I was entertained for some parts of it, but majority I was a bit bored. It was a bit slow for me and I wasn't really connecting for too much. So I think I'm gonna end up with a 3.5, which is still good. I thought I was gonna give it a 3 for majority of it, but I really liked the way that it ended. I mean, I thought I was gonna give it a 4-star, but I think 3.5 is like the perfect rating for how I feel on this. So I don't know how I feel about continuing the series. I think I have to see what the second one is about and like where we go from here, because so much happens by the end of this and I do kind of want to see like where we end up and like what's gonna happen, but I'm not like 100% convinced yet that I want to continue the series just yet. But like I said, maybe I'll listen to the second one, who knows. But if you liked the second one in the series, please let me know, because then maybe you'll motivate me to want to pick it up. Those are both the books that Chris picked for me. So Lightlark is back there on my desk, but we have a 4-star and a 3.5, which is not bad at all. He'll be here either today or tomorrow at some point, and we will have him guess what I gave these books, and we'll see if he's right about my ratings. Usually he is. I feel like if I had to guess what he thinks I'm gonna rate them, I think he's gonna guess I rated Lightlark really high because my reactions to it and the way I read it really, really fast, I think he's gonna think I gave it like a 4.5, and I think he's gonna think I gave this like 3 stars. Maybe I know him better than he knows what I'm gonna rate it. Maybe I know what he thinks better. We'll see. I will see you guys when I'm with Chris next, and we'll have him guess what he thinks I rated these books.
Welcome back.
We're back. I have both books finished. You guys know all my thoughts on this. You guys know my ratings. Now we're gonna make Chris guess what I rated these books. So.
And I can't ask you any questions.
No, this was the first one. This was the Fantasy Trials. Gonna be a series, or actually is a series, ongoing.
How did you feel when you read the book?
I can't tell you anything. Just what do you think I rated this one?
A 4.25.
That's very close. I gave this one a 4-star.
I was gonna say 4.
I was gonna give it 4.25.
I was gonna say 4.
If I was specific, I would have done that.
So I was right.
Like, kind of. If I were to be specific, I probably would have given this a 4.25 because I had a lot of fun.
What was your favorite part about it?
It was just fun. And I'm gonna read the second one soon. Maybe tomorrow for the readathon.
Do you know the second one?
No, I have to go to Barnes. Very entertaining. I had a lot of the fantasy tropes that I like. So it was a good pick. Very good. Okay. Then I read this one. This one is dystopian. They've conquered death, and there's scythes that go around gleaning, basically killing people to help population.
What did you feel about this book?
Not telling you. This is a trilogy. It's gonna become a movie. I mean, a show. I think we could watch it.
So that means that it definitely has high ratings.
Yeah, people really like this series. People really wanted me to read it.
I don't think it was as good as Lightlark.
Okay.
That's what I'm sensing.
Okay.
Something's telling me you gave this a 4.2, but I'm gonna say a 3.5, but it was a 4. 3.75.
3.75. I gave it a 3-star. It was good. I think the concept was cool. I just didn't like the characters. I didn't really care or connect to them.
It makes sense. You didn't make friends while reading it.
No, no friends, but I would maybe read the next one.
Would you recommend that book to a friend?
You could read this. I feel like you would read this. Maybe like it.
Okay.
Not my favorite.
But I picked 2 good books.
Yeah, they were good overall. This one, though, my favorite out of the 2. Really liked this one, and really excited to read the next one. But you did a good job picking them.
Thanks.
I'm happy I got this off my TBR. This has been on there for so long. You guys know I pick this up in every TBR video and never read it, so everyone say thank you, Chris.
Comment on the bottom of the video if you want to see Sarah do a video about non-fiction books that teach you something.
No, we're not reading.
Everybody comment down below.
No, no one asked me.
We'll pick her 2 short
They're
books.
on my side. We don't. Over here, we don't read no
I have a weird
business.
feeling they might be on my side about this one.
Maybe we'll swap books. Maybe I'll have Chris read a book, and I can read
I would do that.
a business
I don't read
one.
much, but I would do that.
We'd have to all converse and pick a good one for Chris to read.
Just comment down below.
Well, everyone say thank you to Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.
For being part of the video.
Thank you guys for having me.
Choosing
It
our
was a
books for
blast.
us. We love having you on here. And time to go buy the second one. And that's all. Thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Hope you're enjoying Bookmas. Thank you for watching. And I'll see y'all tomorrow for tomorrow's video.
See you guys soon.
You have anything to say?
That's all I have for you guys.
All right,
It was
thanks.
great seeing you again.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.